Ward 4. Thank you for joining us, those of you who, Doug and Ruben and Raymond. We're really excited to have the PenFed Credit Union, PenFed Foundation in Milwaukee, recognizing everything that we've done to really improve the city for veteran entrepreneurs and make Milwaukee and Madison and really the state of Wisconsin one of the best places for veterans to start businesses in the country. An organization like Pentagon Federated Credit Union that's done so much to support veterans, to support veteran entrepreneurs, it really means a lot to have them recognize our progress and help us put Milwaukee on the map. So with that being said, I'm going to introduce the Pentagon Federated Credit Union CEO, James Skank, correct, to say a few words.
Thanks, Saul. I'm excited to be here. First of all, PenFed has been serving the national defense community since 1935. We serve about 2.3 million personnel around the country, about 30% military family members, and those who support our nation's warriors, the men and women who raise their hands and go into harm's way to defend our nation. So very proud to be here. About 2 years ago, we established a Veteran Entrepreneur Investment Program because what do veterans need? About 200,000 veterans getting out of service every year, about 1 in 5 want to start their own business. And they need capital and they need a support ecosystem. And so that's been going very well for us as we identify great firms to invest in and give them their chance to grow a business. But more importantly, we decided to do a national study. And we're going to have Seda Goff, our director of our V program, talk about that today. But the study was to identify the best cities in America in which to launch a business for a veteran entrepreneur. So that's what you're going to learn about today, the methodology, the 330 plus metropolitan areas that were looked at, and why Milwaukee and Madison are ranked so high, and what were the factors that led to it, besides Saul, Adam, and the extended business community that really support our nation's veterans here in Wisconsin. So Seda, please, it's all yours.
Thank you, James. So we're really excited to be here for multiple reasons. One is to obviously honor and celebrate the success, but to also show thought leaders in this space for everybody that is looking at elevating their communities to see what Milwaukee and Madison have done. But before we jump into that, what I wanted to do is tell you a little bit about the PenFed Foundation. So the PenFed Foundation was started just after 9/11 in response to the terrorist attacks on the Pentagon to help with emergency financial assistance of those that were affected during that period of time, and has grown since then to have the mission to empower military service members, veterans, and their communities with the skills and resources to realize financial stability and opportunity. And how we do that is through the number of different programs that we offer. On the stability side, we have programs that help veterans get into their first homes. We also have emergency financial assistance programs to help those in the military communities get over a financial hurdle that they are seeing. We were one of the first veteran service organizations to respond to the COVID pandemic to help those of our service members, particularly those in the Guard and reserves, get through this crazy time that we all went through during COVID. And then finally, on the opportunity side, this is where we started the Veteran Entrepreneur Investment Program a little over 3 years ago, and have grown the program to have 3 main lines of operation: education, preparation, and investment. The education side, we do pop-up labs, webinars. We help educate veteran and military community entrepreneurs with the skills that they need to be able to access capital, to grow their businesses. And then we also have prepare programs, like our marquee program, the master's program, that helps those veteran entrepreneurs go that last distance to go raise capital from institutional investors. We also have a program in our prepare line of operation called the Ignition Challenge. This is for those military entrepreneurs that want to get started. These are for idea phase or new businesses, where we get to actually highlight different areas. So right now, we are doing an ignition challenge for those in Wisconsin, Minnesota, North Dakota, South Dakota, and Iowa. So we encourage everybody to go to our website at veip.penfedfoundation.org and to go vote right now. 6 out of the 15 companies are from Wisconsin. So if you want to support your Wisconsin brothers and sisters, we support you to go to our website to vote, cast your vote today. And then finally, we jokingly like to say we put our money where our mouth is, where we do invest in veteran entrepreneurs, and we help them not only with that capital, but with the guidance, support, and mentorship that they need to grow and scale their businesses. And then part of this in our education, we have the top cities for veteran entrepreneurs list. This is the second year that we've done this. And the methodology that we utilize, we've partnered with Edelman Intelligence to help us conduct this study. And we look at a number of different factors. We use over 30 plus data sources. We are reviewing over 350 metropolitan service areas to look at this. We've narrowed it down to 4 main categories that we evaluate each city with: the livability, the growing economy, support for veterans, and the ability to start a business. So it's both the entrepreneurship side, but then also the veteran side, and then where those two intersect. And within each one of these key factors, we've pulled a number of different data sets to be able to do this ranking. And we have this full report for those who are interested, again, on our website at veip.penfedfoundation.org if you'd like to check out all the information and the details of this. Now, obviously, we had a lot of crazy stuff going on in 2020, but we wanted to take that into account because that figures into the viability of a business getting started, of surviving, and of veterans having the resources to do all this. So we did take into account some COVID factors, some that we are looking at as inputs into the ability to start a business, and then those who are indicators of how that market is able to maintain employment as well as start new businesses. And this is our current rankings for 2020-2021 top cities for veteran entrepreneurs list. And you can see that Madison made number 8 and Milwaukee made number 14, and we're very proud of that. One thing that I would love to also highlight is that Milwaukee jumped 40 slots year over year. Madison jumped 21 slots year over year. This is a very big deal because you're talking about a time in our history that it was very hard to not only start a business, to maintain a business, and to grow one. And for these 2 markets that you guys serve and grow up in, to have this much of an impact is huge. And we dug in a little bit. We wanted to see what were those strengths? And then, like we did last year, like, where are those opportunities? How can we continue to help, and how can we continue to grow? So I'm going to invite onto stage with me Saul from the Wisconsin Veteran Chamber of Commerce, so that we can kind of talk through this, because Saul started working with us after the first list was published, and we've been working together on how we can, how we can help this community, how he can connect more pieces together, and want to talk about those strengths. So starting with, obviously some things that are hard to impact, which are the great schools and the median home price increase, and then the low unemployment rates and the educated labor force. But these are important factors that you've been able to highlight during this period of time.
Yeah, for those of you who are from Wisconsin or familiar with Wisconsin, in the Midwest in general, quality of life factors are frequently very high, and offering low cost of living, offering affordable housing, great schools. These are all things that we know are really kind of best kept secrets about what makes Wisconsin and what makes the Midwest a great place to live. And so, yes, part of the progress that we made was in really highlighting these quality of life issues and making sure that folks are aware of just everything that Wisconsin and Milwaukee and Madison have to offer, and kind of connecting that to the larger national ecosystem of organizations like PenFed, so that we can really shine a spotlight on all the great things that are happening here.
So to that point, when we looked at all of the metropolitan service areas that we reviewed, Wisconsin topped 1 and 2 for livability. And that's a big deal nowadays. I mean, a lot of your businesses, you can work from anywhere now.
Right.
So
no, it's one of the silver linings of the pandemic. It's really globalized kind of the entrepreneurship system and opportunities. And so, there are still some challenges, but for the first time ever, you can be in a place like Milwaukee, like Madison, that isn't necessarily geographically close to places like Silicon Valley or New York, but you can still have access to those great resources, but also leverage the things that make this area really advantageous. So the being able to connect with a global network of entrepreneurship support, business support, financing, whether that's debt capital or investment capital, all of that has really been opened up because of the pivots that have been made over the course of the last year.
And what I find fascinatingly optimistic is in the opportunities side, those are all things that you're already working on.
Mm-hmm.
You're already doing all of this. I mean, we've over the course of today have had an opportunity to meet the most influential people in the veteran space, like not even just veteran entrepreneurship, the veteran ecosystem here, and everybody is committed. Do you have any points that you wanted to touch on the opportunities that you're working on right now?
Definitely the business survival. I mean, I think that having an organization like ours as a kind of first line contact and first line resource that businesses can turn to and could turn to over the last year, not only to help them get resources like federal relief or state relief, but also to have a wider community of support, has really played into that business survival rate. And so fortunately, we have not seen the catastrophic impact of COVID and the pandemic on our, at least veteran business community here. By and large, our members have been able to sustain their operations. Maybe they've reduced operations, but they've still been able to make it through to the other side of this. And so that business survival rate is something that I think over the last year we've really sunk our teeth into. But then looking at Madison, we know that Madison has a fantastic startup community and is a really great place to start new businesses. And so we see new businesses being kind of incubated out of the UW system. We see new businesses being incubated out of some of the biotech that's in that area. And of course, veterans are integrated through all of that.
And I mean, these are really key things that you're talking about. What do you think veterans bring to the table that make them so uniquely suited to be successful at a time like right now?
Yeah, I think the theme of the day has been resilience and determination. That our veterans' ability to really operate in really stressful conditions and really austere conditions, either literally or figuratively, has really positioned them well for business ownership. And that was true prior to the pandemic. And what we know make veterans great is all the leadership skills, just kind of soft skills that go into what really defines a good entrepreneur are the same things that are taught in the military. And so, what we've been able to do, at least here in Wisconsin, is make that direct connection and draw a lot of attention and a lot of focus and a lot of support to addressing veteran entrepreneurship, veteran business ownership, and make sure that people are aware of just how impactful military veterans, service members, their families are on our state's entire economy.
And for the cities that aren't on the list right now, what advice would you give their local leaders?
I think the first thing is, if you're not focusing on veteran business ownership, you're too late. You're not too late, but you should be. You should start yesterday. We're really lucky in these two communities to have not only organizational presence on our end, but also really great community partners, state government resources, federal government resources, everybody at the table focusing on how can we best support veteran business owners. Being able to replicate that model. And again, it's all about the network. It's all about the ecosystem. And no one person or entity or organization accomplished this. No one entity or organization is able to do all of this on their own. It takes everybody partnering together. And so that's what I would say, if we're talking about other communities across the state, there's a role for them to play in supporting veteran entrepreneurs, veteran business owners.
That's amazing. And let's say, what would you tell a transitioning service member who's, let's say, transitioning out of Tampa, Florida? What would you say to them about not only coming here, but getting them excited?
Come to Wisconsin and send me a LinkedIn message. No, we want you here. Our vision is to make Wisconsin the most veteran-friendly state in the country. We want Wisconsin to not only be seen as, but really to be that place where service members and veterans can find support and be successful once they leave military service. And selfishly, obviously I happen to think that veterans are pretty great, but it's really a value add on our part. We want you here because you bring so much to the table. You're such an asset that we want to be able to leverage that to grow our business community, to improve our workforce, to make our community stronger. In order to do all of that, we need more veterans here. And so, whatever we can do to attract those folks and to help them settle in here and really make a home for themselves, that's what we're dedicated to.
That's amazing. So, we're going to do, we do this every year. So what is your goal for this year, and what, in terms of the box you want to check, or the, something you want to achieve?
Well, first is I would like Milwaukee to be number 1 and Madison to be number 2, or some combination of those two in next year's list. But no, there's honestly speaking, there's other communities that should be on this list. Wisconsin has a statewide network of really great veterans and folks that are great business owners. We have 65,000 businesses across the state that are owned by military veterans, and so we want to make sure that not just the big cities, but the rural communities, the communities outstate are also doing what they need to do to make this list.
That's amazing. Yes. So we dug in a little bit as to, what were the things that each of the cities were doing well, and where are some opportunities for improvement. And we're not highlighting the opportunities for improvement to focus on the negative, but we're saying we're always getting better. We're always growing. And hopefully being able to highlight these, ignites those leaders out there to be able to focus on those additional things. So, starting with Madison, again, livability, top of the list in general. So that was obviously, here in the positive. Our growing economy for Madison, that's again, a great asset to that area. But the needing improvement. So obviously low veteran population. And I know you guys, and this is going to come up again in the Milwaukee, tell us a little bit about what are the programs that you're focusing on, because I know we talked a little bit about this today.
We did, and there will be more information coming out, but we're really excited to be partnering with the state and also other organizations to provide a direct pipeline and a direct support during that transition period, identifying service members who are ETSing, identifying those folks that either are planning to come to Wisconsin or ideally we're able to recruit them to the state, and providing them not only with wraparound support services, but also employment and reintegration support. So, looking at the areas where we need to improve, we are a state without a large active duty military presence, which only means that we need to be more proactive and intentional about identifying those folks that are transitioning out, making sure that they are aware of all the opportunities here, and actively supporting them as they hopefully call Wisconsin home.
Another statistic that has come up a number of times today that we've talked about is veteran entrepreneurs are 30% more likely than their non-veteran counterparts to hire other veterans or military spouses. And one of the things that came up as an area of improvement was veteran unemployment rates. So there's part of it is more veteran entrepreneurs, then increases more veteran jobs and military community jobs. So I know that that's something that you are pushing toward as well. And we talked a little bit about military spouses.
Yes, yeah. And we're excited to be working closely with the National Guard here in Wisconsin to extend more direct support to members of the Guard as well as their families. But broadly speaking, yes, when we have more veteran-owned businesses and veteran entrepreneurs, we have more career opportunities. We have more, family supporting careers available for veterans, because nobody knows the value of a veteran better than a veteran themselves.
That's great. One thing about the incubator shortage, it's a very specific type of need. It's not just a co-working space that we're in right now, but it's actually the support system. And you guys are looking at starting a startup accelerator and incubator. Is that right?
Yeah, we've been working on a program called Command Post. It's in its third cohort that provides basically wraparound support and direct support to businesses with less than $1 million in annual revenue, helping them scale their growth quickly and reach that $1 million mark so that they have more expanded opportunities quicker for things like investment capital or institutional capital.
And speaking of capital, we have here the lack of venture capital investment. I know this is something you and I are working on together. We've recently pulled the list of all accredited investors here, and if you are listening, call us. And we'd love to engage and activate this community to be able to showcase the amazing companies that are getting started here, and to also show the art of the possible for those that are looking at potentially starting a business. So this is somewhere where we are working together to be able to figure out how to bring more investment capital here, whether it be the PenFed Foundation, bringing our investment funds and capital ourselves, or even better, engaging the investors right here in the state of Wisconsin.
Yeah, it's a focus area that has been identified as an area of improvement overall for a long time. That Milwaukee especially ranks near the bottom of investment activity. We know that for veteran entrepreneurs, they face many of the same challenges that other underserved communities face in terms of accessing capital. And it's not something that really, there is a silver bullet. It's going to take the business community. It's going to take the corporate community. It's going to take organizations like ours, but also state and national partners to address this problem, because it is something that is a barrier to opportunity for a lot of the businesses that we work with.
Absolutely. And transitioning that, we're seeing a number of the same things here as well. So do you have any asks of your community, whether it be those in the room or those on, joining us through their computer screens or cell phones?
I think the first ask is patronize veteran-owned businesses. Buy veteran. You can find veteran-owned businesses on our website, wiveteranschamber.org. You can look at our business directory and find an auto repair shop or a restaurant or any product or service that you might need, there's a veteran-owned business near you that provides that product or service. More broadly speaking, I think it's the community really coming together to recognize how important this population is, how important these issues are to our collective success. That when we have veterans who are succeeding, everybody benefits from that. Our economy is improved, our workforce is improved, our communities are improved, and so it's incumbent upon all of us to be intentional and to take steps to address some of these areas where we've made a lot of improvement, we've made a lot of progress, but it's not a time to rest on our laurels.
Absolutely. And we open up the floor as well as online to any questions or comments or suggestions or words of encouragement from the room or those that are joining us online. And Adam, I'm going to rely on you to help convey some of those points. But anybody in the room want to get us started?
For your venture capital investment, how much of a veteran ownership for the company that the person has to be? Does it have to be 50% or more, or to be 30% or 50%?
Sure. Absolutely, great question. So we require that the business be majority veteran owned. That does not mean that it's 51%. It has to be the majority stakeholder, and it has to be veteran led. So it's some one or more of the C-suite has to be veterans or military spouses as well. Great question. And we are, to piggyback on that, we are industry agnostic, though we focus on companies that have some level of validation and traction. Does not have to be revenue per se, but some, as they're growing their business, because this our investment fund is pre-seed and seed stage. For those, it's basically post beginning of the business. Does not have to be post revenue, but some types of traction that we've seen is anything from letters of intent from large customers to online traction from pre-orders or community engagement.
It was pre-seed or first seed?
Yep, pre-seed, seed stage for the most part. We do, for those of you that are interested, and this is something that you are going to look for some type of institutional investment in the future. We have a number of programs also that are nationally based that you can apply for. One specifically that focuses on the investment fund preparation is our master's program that helps military entrepreneurs go that last 100-yard dash or preparing to fundraise for capital. And this means it's basically due diligence boot camp. So, we are going to scrub through your traction and your unit metrics. We're going to scrub through accounting, financials, legal, all with the through line of putting together your data room. And your data room is basically all your documents that an investor might want to see to evaluate you as an investment. And we help you figure out, what that looks like specifically for your business and your industry as you scale. And then we, at the end of this, put those companies up for during one of our deal days. Our next deal day is actually June 24th, and we are in the midst of our current cohort of 10 companies, and we do this twice a year for the 10 companies per cohort. And currently, we are just shy of 180 invitations out to different investors. Some that will be joining us, most that will be joining us virtually, but some that will also be joining us in the room. And actually, there's a few that are flying in so that they can see our entrepreneurs pitching.
Other questions?
Yeah.
So for veterans who are formerly incarcerated persons, especially if they're minority, obviously only about 3% of that investment, investment goes to minority. But if they're formerly incarcerated, does that play a factor in you guys investing in them or no?
No, it does not. It does not. We've actually had a great run of the last few years of actually attracting a lot of diversity in our programs as well as our deal flow, both intentionally through specific programs that we've done, whether it be focused on military women's or military women's startup accelerator, or earlier this year we had a Black History Month Ignition Challenge, where we had in 1 week we had 60 applicants for the 15 slots, and then we went to a voting stage, and in a week and a half over 7,500 people casted their votes for these, and it was amazing, and to the point where we had actually the 3 finalists of this program all had female founders, and which was amazing. One was a mother-daughter combination, where the mother is a Navy veteran and her teenage daughter. Together they started this business called Sweet Christie's. And then another one was a husband and wife called I Smile. The husband, it was an ophthalmologist, and the wife was a dentist. So IEYE Smile, very clever. And then finally, Natasha Hines, who started a company called Keep Your Hair Headgear. And she's actually one of our cohort members currently in our master's program. She does silk-lined military headwear, and works specifically also with a few license agreements she has with different historically Black schools and colleges, and the sororities and fraternities as well. And she's doing amazingly well. So we've gotten this great influx. Currently, even in our 10% or 10 company cohort, 6 out of 10 of those companies have women founders, and 4 out of 10 of them have diverse founders. So we're very lucky that we get to see that. Great questions. Any from online? Everybody's shy today. That's okay. Yes, sir.
I'd like to ask a question for Saul. With the PenFed Foundation, the start of a partnership with the Veterans Chamber of Commerce, what would you like to see as we continue this partnership going forward? What can we do more to support your lines of effort in the Veterans Chambers of Commerce here?
Well, I think this is the same answer I think I would generally give to anybody who has a national presence, which is, a lot of times, as natural resources, programs, attention, support really gets focused where population is most dense, right? And that, in terms of entrepreneurship, that tends to be on the coast. What I hope that we've demonstrated here is that Milwaukee and Madison and the state of Wisconsin as a whole is really committed to supporting these veteran entrepreneurs, these business owners, and making sure that they're successful. So, doing what you're doing now, offering the Accelerator Challenge to the Midwest specifically, bringing programs like the Accelerator, like the Master's Program, bringing those programs, making them available to not just Wisconsin-based businesses, but across the Midwest, I think will really help us accelerate the improvement in the progress that we've made, and really fundamentally change the landscape that we have here. So I think it's just everything that you guys are doing now, we want to help bring it to Wisconsin.
So there's probably a lot of aspiring veteran entrepreneurs out there that are wondering, how do I take that first step? What is the first thing I do? I've got it in my mind, I know what I want to do, but what do I do to sort of get this ball rolling? So what advice would you give to them, and how can they sort of get involved?
Absolutely. So number one is find a battle buddy. Find somebody to go talk to. And you can do that through a number of different local programs, like the ones run by the Wisconsin Veteran Chamber of Commerce. There's also other service organizations, veteran service organizations around the country. I even put in Team RWB and some of the other kind of veteran ecosystem programs that bring people together and start talking about it. So number one, start talking about it. Because if you put it out there, somebody in the room is going to say, oh, I know exactly what what you're doing. Here's what I just did. And then get the conversation started. Don't be afraid of failure. Absolutely don't be afraid of failure. Let me tell you, get everybody in on a secret. You are going to fail. And that's going to be the most fun part of this process if you keep learning from it and keep growing from it. So don't be afraid of failure. And, we hear a lot, and this is, not exclusive to veterans, is, I don't want to tell anybody about my idea because if I fail at it, then I just kind of failed quietly. Well, then there's no way to go to your next idea. Because if you have that bug in you, there's probably a few of those ideas in your brain. So say them out loud, let them grow, let other people help you. You will never do this alone. We talk about the two biggest challenges that veteran entrepreneurs have is lack of ecosystem and access to capital. But that lack of ecosystem starts with the fact that if you isolate yourself and you isolate this idea, you will not cultivate the right ecosystem to be able to grow your idea. So say it out loud, tell everybody, and the other little kind of dirty secret of entrepreneurship is like nobody's going to steal your idea. And if it's that stealable, it probably wasn't the right idea to begin with. So, just go out and start talking about it. Don't require everybody to sign a non-disclosure agreement to talk about it. Just start talking about it and get the ball rolling. And use the different local outlets to do that, because they'll also start turning you to the right national programs or other local programs, whether it be ours or some of the other different programs out there that's most relevant for you. Thank you for that. Okay, is there anything online?
We have some comments, but no questions.
Uh-oh.
Good comments.
Okay. Good. All right. So I have a question. I'm going to ask you a question, James. Is what is one tip, kind of life hack that you would give an entrepreneur, a veteran entrepreneur starting out?
Be relentless. In other words, the best entrepreneurs don't take no for an answer. And I surround myself with people at my firm that can get to yes with our business partners or where they're trying to lead a product or service because they don't let obstacles get in the way. So the best entrepreneurs are basically just don't take no for an answer.
Alana, what would be your answer?
Maybe you should repeat that so everybody can hear it. I don't know.
Yeah. The question?
Yeah,
Oh.
the answer.
So James said that his number one hack would be to be relentless, not to take no for an answer, and to keep striving forward until you achieve your goal. And what would be yours?
You kind of touched on it a little bit. Surround yourself with other veterans and other entrepreneurs. Don't do it by yourself, because being a commercial banker, and you see it all the time, the business owners who fail the most are the ones that try to do it all by themselves. They want to be an accountant, be an attorney. So surround yourselves with places like Wisconsin Veterans Chamber of Commerce and the other veteran entrepreneurs that are successful and can give you those tips so you don't keep making the same mistake over and over again.
Exactly. That's great. Do you have any questions you want to ask the crews?
Not that I can.
Okay. All right. I put him on the spot. That's my fault. I put him on the spot. That's on me.
No, I just want to thank all of you for taking the time to join us today. Thank the PenFed team for making this happen, making this trip, and just for the recognition of all the work that we and our partners are doing. It's good to know that it's having an impact and it's being recognized, and that we're really part of something special here that can be replicated across the country, hopefully.
And before we sign off, we did have a little gift that we'd like to present. Doug and Alana, I don't know if you guys wanted to come up.
Brandon, you can come up too.
Yeah, you want to get on this side? Okay.
Yeah, board members. Yeah, come on up.
Dave, you want to come up too? So in recognition for this amazing achievement, here, I'll let you go in front. We'd like to give you just a little token of our appreciation for everything that you've done.
And this is actually from a veteran-owned business called Flags of Valor. Combat wounded veteran was at Walter Reed, and you could not get an American flag that was not sourced from international sources. And so when he got out of Walter Reed after many, many surgeries, he hires other veterans, and this is actually signed and made by a veteran on the back, and it's now one of the top flag companies for wood flags around America.
Awesome.
And for those that are interested in a flag like this, you can go to flagsofvalor.org today, and they're actually donating a portion of their proceeds to PenFed Foundation. That's beautiful.
Great story on the back about
Yeah.
who made it.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Congratulations on doing so well.
All right.